The Songwriters, an evening with John Kander and Fred Ebb. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Liza Minnelli.
Kander and Ebb are songwriters. I think they're wonderful songwriters. Personally, they're my favorites. My relationship with them started when we did a Broadway show together. It was called Floor of the Red Menace, and I'm not going to be coy about it. That was 13 years ago. It was my first Broadway show, and it was their first Broadway show. And since then, we've been joined at the hip. Everything from Liza with a Z to Cabaret to New York, New York, not to mention Ring Them Bells. Let me tell you a little bit about them. Fred and John are both extremely well educated. Both have a master's degree from Columbia University. Fred is an art collector. John is an opera buff. Fred, from New York City, New York, is intense, verbal, open, and he can make you laugh. John, from Kansas City, Missouri, is intense, gentle, quiet, and he can make you smile. Together, they are what gives the word professionalism its true meaning. So it is with great pleasure that I share this next hour with you. The music of Kander and Ebb.
Hi, guys. I'm Fred. He's John. I write the words, and he writes the music. I just thought I'd identify us, in case you want to write threatening letters or anything. What John's playing now is called a vamp till ready. That means he's got a vamp until I'm ready. I kind of like it, really. Gives you a feeling of power, you know. So I thought I'd just kind of stand here for a while and let myself unwind a little and let the Valium work. And let you kind of look at me, my rags and all. The first song is the opening number of a show we wrote called Chicago. And Cheetah Rivera got to sing it. And now I'm gonna sing it. John, I'm ready. Come on, babe, why don't we paint the town? And all that jazz, I'm gonna rouge my knees and roll my stockings down. And all that jazz, start the car, I know a whoopee spot where the gin is cold but the piano's hot. It's just a noisy hall where there's a nightly brawl and all of that a jazz. Slick your hair and wear your buckled shoes. And all that jazz, I hear that Father Dip is gonna blow the blues. And all that jazz, hold on, hon, we're gonna bunny hug. I bought some aspirin down at United Drug in case we shake apart and want a brand new start to do. Are they a jazz?
Oh, you're gonna see a Sheba shimmy shake.
And all that jazz.
Oh, I'm gonna shimmy till my garters break.
And all that jazz.
Show me where to park my girdle. Oh, my mother's blooded curdle. If she'd hear her baby's queer for all that jazz.
Find a flask, we're playing fast and loose. And all that jazz.
And all that jazz.
Oh, right up here is where I store the juice. And all that jazz.
And all that jazz.
Hold on, hon, we're gonna brush the sky. I bet you a lucky Lindy never flew so high. 'Cause in the stratosphere, I put a London's ear to all of that's a jazz. Thank you. In songwriting, there is something called a special material. Are you noticing how my hands are shaking, like what I did now? Well, I noticed. And special material is, I don't know if you know what that is, but it's like, that's not theater writing or anything, but it's like when a performer comes to you and he or she generally has a nightclub act or they're going to do a performance on a television show of some kind, and they want a piece written especially for them that no one else can sing ever, and you design it solely for them, and they have the exclusive use of it for their lifetime, and they pay you $3, and that's the end of the transaction. And we wrote a lot of special material, and there was a girl that we knew at the very beginning of her career, and she needed a piece of special material. I have to confess, she paid a lot more than $3, and we wrote a piece for her. She's kind of famous now, and I think you'll know who she is when you hear the piece. So I've got this problem. It's my name. People tend to call me Lisa. Wrong. It's Liza. It's got a Z in it. Like someone coming over to you, on the street, and they'll say, "Hi, Lisa, you look terrific." And I say, "Thank you very much." It's Liza. They say you can say your problems better, if you put them in music. So that's what I've done. Ladies and gentlemen, on the subject of my name. It's Liza with a Z, not Lisa with an S, 'cause Lisa with an S goes nuts. It's Z instead of S, Lie instead of Lee. Simple as can be, see Liza. It's Liza with a Z, not Lisa with an S, 'cause Lisa with an S goes nuts. Z instead of S, it's Lie instead of Lee. It's simple as can be, see Liza. Now, if my name were Ada, I'd be Ada. Even backwards, I'd be Ada. Or if my name were Ruth, then I'd be Ruth. Because with Ruth, what can you do? Or Sally, or Margaret, or Ginger, or Faye. But when you're Eliza, you always have to say, hey, it's Liza with a Z, not Lisa with an S. 'Cause Lisa with an S goes nuts. It's Z instead of S, Lie instead of Lee. Simple as can be, see Liza. And that is only half of it, for there's another way fate treats me cruelly. How often I remember someone saying, there she goes, Lisa Manuli, or Manoli, or Mineola, or Minoli, or Minoli. So is it a wonder? I very often cry. It's M-I-double-N, then E-double-L-I. You double up the N, that's not new. Then E-double-E-L and end it with an I. That's what you say. Minelli, Liza Minnelli. It's Italian, blame it on Papa. What can I do? Every Sandra who's a Sandra, every Mary who's really Marie, every Joan who's a Joanne has got to agree with me when I've announced I don't mind being pummeled or trampled or trounced, but it does drive you bats to be mispronounced. It's Liza with a Z, not Lisa with an S, 'cause Lisa with an S goes nuts. It's Z instead of S, it's Lie instead of Lee. It's simple as can be, see Liza, then M-I-double-N, then E-double-L-I. You double up the N, that's not new. E-double-E-L, and you end it with an I, and that's what you say. Minnelli, Liza Minnelli. It's easy, it's easy. You see, it's Leezy. Oh, no. Liza! All people who write have favorite songs. And when you're two of you, it's bound to be two different songs. And it is. Johnny's favorite song, which we'll do first, is from a show called Flora the Red Menace. And the heroine of that show just has the best thing in life happen to her. It's in the Depression, and she gets a job. And this is a song she sings when she realizes that when everything you want happens for you, it's not everything that people tell you about. It's not a noisy, big thing like on The Price is Right. It's kind of quiet, and this is the song.
When it all comes true, just the way you planned. It's funny, but the bells don't ring. It's a quiet thing. When you hold the world in your trembling hand, you'd think you'd hear a choir sing. It's a quiet thing. There are no exploding fireworks. Where's the roaring of the crowds? Maybe it's the strange new atmosphere way up here among the clouds. But I don't hear the drums, and I can't hear the band. The sounds, I'm told, such moments bring. Happiness comes in on tiptoe. Well, what do you know? It's a quiet thing, a very quiet thing. Happiness comes in on tiptoe. Well, what do you know? It's a quiet thing, a very quiet thing.
My favorite song is from the movie version of Cabaret. It wasn't in the stage version. And we were asked to write this particular song. There are things writers have called a trunk. And that means you write a song sometime and you don't know what to do with it, so you put it in this trunk. And it kind of sits there. And this song was sitting there, in fact, for 15 years. And, oh, you know you're so old, eh? And I am. And the movie was coming out, and there was a situation in the movie that was just ideal for this song. And we both of us thought of it. And we went to the trunk. And because we went to the trunk and they found out about it, it made the song ineligible for an Academy Award. But they paid us anyway, and it's still my favorite. Maybe this time I'll be lucky. Maybe this time he'll stay. Maybe this time, for the first time, love won't hurry away. He will hold me fast. I'll be home at last. Not a loser anymore, like the last time and the time before. Everybody loves a winner, so nobody loved me. Lady peaceful, lady happy, that's what I long to be. Well, all the odds are in my favor. Something's bound to begin. It's gotta happen sometime.
I'll win. Everybody, they love a winner, so nobody loved me. Warm and peaceful, safe and happy, that's what I long to be. Well, all the odds are in my favor, something's bound to begin. It's gotta happen sometime, maybe this time, maybe this time I'll win.
And this is called a party song. And you don't write party songs for profit. You write them for your friends and to kid around, you know. And sometimes writers write them, and we write a lot of them just to entertain our friends. And this is one of our party songs. Although the fact is, a lady did hear it at a party, and she had $3, and we took it. And this is our party song. There's a lady living somewhere, where it is I do not know, but I long to write and tell her that I love her so. I believe I might do mayhem, yes, I might destroy myself if I ever found her missing from my grocer's shelf. Sara Lee, Sara Lee, your brioche just fractures me. Give me a taste of your cherry Danish. My mother bakes well, but you can't compare her, not with Sara Lee, Sara Lee. There's no H, just Sara Lee, and that's okay by me, because I'm living in paradise when I'm a nibbling apple spice from the kitchens of the one I love, a wonderful Sara Lee.
Sara Lee,
And it thrills me right to my soul when I'm chewing her finger roll. You hear me saying, for goodness sake, there never been a better banana cake. Cousin Milton works at the Hilton. He caters banquets, and at each affair he'll swear by Sara Lee.
I really know what you mean.
Sara Lee.
Aren't her brownies obscene?
Drop that H, say Sara Lee, and that's okay by me. I love a cheesecake, white as pearl, and did I mention a chocolate swirl from the kitchens of the one I love, a wonderful Sarah, a beautiful Sarah, S-A-R-A-L-E-E, Sara Lee. Well, that's you're all invited to the next party.
Yes, indeed.
Sometimes songs seem to have lives of their own. And I'll tell you a story about that. They just want to be what they seem to want to be. And I guess it has to do with how you feel. Like if you're angry or frustrated or unhappy, a song can change direction right in the middle of it. We were writing a song at one time. It was kind of up jaunty song about a happy little bar called Bobos in Omaha, Nebraska. And as we were writing it, in the middle of it, Johnny got a phone call. And when he got off the phone, he told me that a friend of ours had called to tell us that another friend of ours had committed suicide. And it was a very awful moment for the both of us. And we sat and we talked about it, as you do, for maybe a couple of hours. And when we were all talked out, and there didn't seem to be anything more we could say, and certainly nothing we could do, we decided the only thing was to go back to work. And so we went back to work, and suddenly this song became about something we never really thought it was going to be about when we started writing. And this is the song.
Outside uptown Omaha, there's a small piano bar where a neon sign keeps flashing. Bobos. Bessie plays her Yamaha underneath a mirrored star, and that neon sign keeps flashing. Bobos. Bobo's not around today, and yet it's Bobos anyway. He left that stipulation in his will. And when you look around, it's clear all us steadies love it here at Bobo's Bar and Grill. Look at Mr. Miller shooting pool with Bobby, banking off the corners. We love that sound. Look at Peg and Mabel winging from the table, waiting for a sucker to buy a round. Look at Mr. Johnson from the filter station, pouring out his troubles to Ruth McGaw, while Deputy McGuire talks about the fire caught a drifter setting at the package store. Bobos. The swells out in Fair Acres wouldn't ever care to venture near it. Bobos. So noisy that a heart could break, and bet a buck you'd never hear it. Bobos. Fords and Chevys backing up. Hey, don't smack my pickup truck. And that neon sign keeps flashing. Bobos. Coffee for a dime a cup. Pecan pie a half a buck. And that neon sign keeps flashing. Bobos. Bobo's not around today, and yet it's Bobo's anyway. He left that stipulation in his will. Come on inside and have a beer. Join the happy hour here at Bobo's Bar and Grill. Look at Mr. Bradley hawking his insurance. Not a soul is listening, they never do. He's standing full of bud now, rhythm in his blood now, sings another chorus of Babaloo. Bobos. When all the pain of failing gets so bad you think you'll never shake it. Bobos. I lost my job, the kid is sick, and Jesus God, how can I take it? Bobos. The laughter's much too loud to let you think of how you'll never make it. You'll never make it. You'll never make it. Outside uptown Omaha, there's a small piano bar where a neon sign keeps flashing. Bobos. Bessie plays her Yamaha underneath a mirrored star, and that neon sign keeps flashing. Bobos. Bobo's not around today, and yet it's Bobo's anyway. He left that stipulation in his will. So when you find yourself in town, hurry up and hurry down to Bobo's Bar and Grill.
This next song is the interest of me. I write a lot of special material and funny things, you know. And I had this idea for what I thought was a hilarious song. And Johnny came over one day and we started work. And he said, you know, I really think you ought to think about yourself. I mean, I think your mind is twisted. And, you tend to always want to write funny, you know, and you think funny. And like, what if we took this very idea that you think is so hilarious and we write it seriously? Well, I always do what Johnny tells me. So we took this, don't tell. We took this idea and we did write it seriously, and it became a big pop hit. And there were like 98 records on it or something, and Barbra Streisand sang it and all that crowd. And because I owe it all to Johnny, I think he ought to sing it for you.
You admire coloring books, and lots of people do. I've a new one for you. A most unusual coloring book, the kind you never see. Crayons ready, very well, begin to color me. These are the eyes that watched him as he walked away. Color them gray. This is the heart that thought he would always be true. Color it blue. These are the arms that held him and touched him, then lost him somehow. Color them empty now. These are the beads I wore until she came between. Color them green. This is the room I sleep in and hide in and walk in and weep in when nobody sees. Color it lonely, please. This is the man whose love I depended upon. Color him gone.
This next song is from a show called The Happy Time. And The Happy Time took place in Canada, and it starred Robert Goulet. Remember him? And he played the part of Uncle Jacques. And Uncle Jacques was sort of a rogue and a man of the world and a rake. And he would come home every 6 months or so. He was a photographer to visit his family. And his brother had a boy, a 14-year-old boy. And it was the opinion of the family that Jacques was a terrible influence on the boy. And that he sort of encouraged him not to go to school, you know, if he could have a better time doing something else. And he was showing him how to chase girls and all that stuff. And this one particular scene takes place on a night when Uncle Jacques is going to take Bibi, is the name of the young boy, out on the town. And the first two choruses are sung by Uncle Jacques, and the third chorus is sung by the 14-year-old boy. And I get to play all the parts. And in the third chorus, watch closely, and I will magically transform myself into a 14-year-old boy for you. First I start, though, being Uncle Jacques, okay? Oh, tomorrow morning the sun will shine with a bud awakening on every vine, and the leaves will tremble and the birds will peep, and tomorrow morning I'll sleep. Yes, tomorrow morning I'll do my best to enjoy the morning in a good night's rest, but this evening's celebration just won't keep, so tomorrow morning I'll sleep. There's a bright blue star, and I'm where you are. It's a true bonsoir. Not to stay awake would be a large mistake. If the wine is heady and the lights are low, then my arm is ready and I'm set to go. It's a waste of moonlight to be counting sheep, and tomorrow morning is time enough to sleep.
The sun will shine
with a bud awakening on every vine, and the leaves will whistle and the birds will peep, and tomorrow morning I'll sleep. Yes, tomorrow morning I'll do my best to enjoy the morning in a good night's rest, but this evening's celebration just won't keep, so tomorrow morning I'll sleep. There's a bright blue star, and I'm where you are. It's a true bonsoir. Not to stay awake would be a large mistake. If the wine is heady and the lights are low, then the lights are ready and I'm set to go. It's a waste of moonlight to be counting sheep, and tomorrow morning is time enough to. Tomorrow morning the sun will shine with a bud awakening on everyone, and the wind will whistle and the brook run cool, and tomorrow morning school. Tomorrow morning I'll do my best to enjoy my classroom in a good night's rest, but tonight I'm flying and my head is swelled, though tomorrow morning expelled. And there's a bright blue star, and I'm where you are. It's a true bonsoir. Not to stay awake would be a large mistake. If the wine is heady and the lights are low, then the arm is ready and I'm set to go. It's a waste of moonlight to be counting sheep, and tomorrow morning, tomorrow morning, tomorrow morning I'll sleep. This is a movie we got to write once. It's the title song from the movie. And maybe somewhere in the song you could find a clue as to what the name of the movie was. Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I wanna be a part of it. New York, New York. These vagabond shoes are longing to stray and step around the heart of it. New York, New York. I wanna wake up in the city that doesn't sleep, to find I'm king of the hill, top of the heap. My old town blues are melting away. I'll make a brand new start of it in old New York. If I can make it there, I'd make it anywhere. It's up to you, New York, New York. it's nice when we agree about things. And Johnny and I agree about love and about what you need, even though you're in love. And that was the point of a show we wrote last year for Liza called The Act. And it's how the show ended. And it was the girl's philosophy of the only way she could really accept a relationship in her life. And it's a song that means a great deal to both of us. And because it's a ballad, and I have to sit down, Johnny will sing it for you.
I won't need much, just my own space. A little time with my own thoughts in my own space. Some place to run, some place to hide, where there is no one else but me to meet inside. I love you more than I can ever say. I love you more and more and more with every passing day. Allow me light, a breath of air. Leave me the only thing I own we cannot share. Just leave me that sweet love of mine. Just leave me that, just my own space, and we'll be fine. Of air. Leave me the only thing I own we cannot share. Just my own space, sweet love of mine. Just leave me that, just my own space, and we'll be fine.
This next song is another one of our $3 numbers, and what's interesting about it is that a lot of people ask you, how do you get the ideas, you know? Where do the ideas for the songs come from? And the truth is, I don't know that. I mean, I really don't know that. But I think that our writers tend to listen hard, and we also tend to remember a lot of things. And I remember when I was a kid, I heard this story. I have no idea if it's true or not, but I thought of this story when this particular need for a number came up, a production number. And so we set it to words and music, and I made up a little bit of it. But mostly, what's interesting is this story is absolutely true, and we got to write it. So. I've got a story to tell about a Manhattan lady that I know very well. She lives at 5 Riverside, her name is Shirley DeVore, and she traveled round the world to meet the guy next door. Well, there was trouble inside apartment 29E, cause Shirley's mother and dad were as upset as can be. They said, we hate to complain, dear, and we don't like to grouse, but you're nearly 32, you should get out of the house. You gotta ring them bells, you gotta ring them
them bells. You gotta make them sing and really ring them bells. It's such a happy thing to hear them ting-a-ling. You gotta ring them bells. Well, Shirley was 31, which she was loath to admit, and she had never been loved, which didn't thrill her a bit. And so she sat and she thought for hours on end, and said, I'll go to Chase Manhattan, where I got me a friend. And so she borrowed $1,000 and called TWA, and told her mother and dad that she was up and away. I'm gonna travel the continent a month, maybe 2, and haul me home a huzz if it's the last thing I do. You gotta ring them bells, you gotta ring them bells, you gotta make them sing and really ring them bells. It's such a happy thing to hear them ting-a-ling. You gotta ring them bells. She met a Londoner first, but they did not hit it off, 'cause every time she approached, he got a bronchial cough. And so she went to Madrid and met a handsome senor, but he liked to throw the bull and he was no matador. She also bombed out in Brussels, in Majorca and Rome, till someone said, try Dubrovnik, dear, before you go home, 'cause it's the kind of a town where you'll be likely to fall, and all the Tony Cognoscenti find the Balkans a ball. You gotta ring them bells, you gotta ring them bells, you gotta make them sing and really ring them bells. It's such a happy thing to hear them ting-a-ling. You gotta ring them bells. And so she went to Dubrovnik, and the very first day she met a guy on the beach who took her reason away. Yes, it was love at first sight and quite a beautiful scene. She said, my name is Cheryl DeVore. He said,
I'm Norm Saperstein.
She said, are you from New York? He said,
That can't be denied. I've got a swell Junior 3 at number 5 Riverside.
5 Riverside Drive?
5 Riverside Drive.
5 Riverside Drive in New York City?
New York City.
That's where you live?
I live there.
That is where I live. It's so remarkable. In your whole life you lived in front. I live in front. As if that wasn't enough, poor Shirley thought she'd gone deaf when he told her his apartment there was 29F. Yes. She was E, he was F, and they had never met until she traveled the world to Yugoslavia. Yes, he'd always been right next door, and she would never have known. If she hadn't tried Dubrovnik, she might still be alone. Well, there's a moral to learn from little Shirley DeVore, who had to borrow $1,000 to find a lover next door. You girls who live in apartments, don't just stare at the wall. Open up the door and hurry out in the hall. And ring them bells, come on and ring them bells. Make them sing and really ring them bells. It's such a happy thing to hear them ting-a-ling. You gotta swing them, ring them, swing them, ring them What good is sitting alone in your room? Come hear the music play. Life is a cabaret, old chum. Come to the cabaret. Put down the knitting, the book, and the broom. Time for a holiday. Life is a cabaret, old chum. Come to the cabaret. Come taste tables waiting, no use permitting some prophet of doom to wipe every smile away. Life is a cabaret, old chum, come to the cabaret. I used to have this girlfriend known as Elsie, with whom I shared 4 sordid rooms in Chelsea. She wasn't what you'd call a blushing flower. As a matter of fact, she rented by the hour. The day she died, the neighbors came to snicker. That's what comes from too much pills and liquor. But when I saw her laid out like a queen, she was the happiest corpse I'd ever seen. I think of Elsie to this very day. I remember how she turned to me and said, what good is sitting alone in your room? Come hear the music play. Life is a cabaret, old chum. Come to the cabaret. And as for me, I made my mind up back in Chelsea. When I go, I'm going like Elsie. Start by admitting from cradle to tomb. Isn't that long a stay? Life is a cabaret, old chum. It's only a cabaret, old chum. And I love a There's a moral to learn from little Shirley DeVore, who had to borrow $1,000 to find a lover next door. You girls who live in apartments, don't just stare at the wall. Open up the door and hurry out in the hall.